Hey, what's going on, everyone? Cyclops with Paramount Cyclops here, and on this Thanksgiving Day, I am thankful for you guys. I am thankful for my breath. I'm thankful for all the loved ones in my life, and I am thankful also that we live in a country where we have rights, and if we feel our rights are stepped upon or set aside or trampled on, we have a recourse to go through to say, hey, we don't think this is right. There are a lot of countries that don't have that opportunity. So what am I talking about? Well, the Supreme Court has ruled in favor of the religious groups in New York that Cuomo was, for some reason, just singling out. There were lots of mass gatherings and lots of instances, but then it seemed like he was just blaming the religious groups, and not just all the religious groups. It seemed, to me anyways, like he was coming really hard on the Jewish community. Well, they got their day in court, which is the American way. Let's read this from the Daily Mail. Supreme Court rules in favor of Christian and Jewish groups who challenged New York's COVID restrictions on religious gatherings, as new Justice Amy Coney Barrett joins 5-4 majority in our first public vote. Yeah, we have a right to assemble and peaceably assemble, and I believe the wording in the Constitution is no government shall infringe on those rights. And religious freedom was one of the top ones. The Supreme Court, late Wednesday, temporarily barred New York from enforcing certain attendance limits at houses of worship in areas designated as hard hit by the coronavirus. The court, on a 5-4 vote, granted requests made by the Roman Catholic Diocese of Brooklyn and 2 Orthodox Jewish congregations. An October 6 decision by New York Governor Andrew Cuomo shut down non-essential businesses in targeted areas where infections have spiked, including some Brooklyn neighborhoods. The problem with that is this. Like, okay, so you have a city. It's a big square, right? Not all cities are square, I know, but for visual representation, we're going to say it's a square. So you have hot spots. Let's say this corner up here, this corner down here, this corner up here, and this corner over here, hot spots. Okay, so you shut those corners down here. Everywhere else on the map is not a hot spot. Well, what are you forcing these 4 corners here to do? To go everywhere else? Because, well, they still need to eat. They still need to get supplies. There are still things that they need to purchase to get to live. They're going to leave that lockdown area at some point, because if you're closing all the businesses in that area, well, they're going to go to businesses in other areas. Here in my home state of New Mexico, Walmart over here closed, Walmart over there closed. Here's how it happened. The Walmart over here closed first. You can't see. The Walmart over here closed first. 2 weeks. Point system. They had too many individuals who had contact tracing contacts through the contact tracing apps, and they shut them down for 2 weeks. Everybody that used to go to that Walmart then went to that Walmart. 6 days later, that Walmart now had the same COVID people that were going to that Walmart. Then that Walmart shut down. So then there's 2. So then all the people from these 2 Walmarts are all going to the other Walmart. Now that Walmart's shut down. So now we got 1. That's close to me anyways. There's another one, but good Lord, it's quite a distance. So I don't understand that, locking down certain parts and then you're forcing individuals to go to the parts that aren't seeing spikes. There's a lot of this that just is weird. A lot of this. The groups sued to challenge attendance limits at houses of worship in areas designated red and orange zones, where New York had capped attendance at 10 to 25 people respectively. 10 people in red zones, 25 people in orange zones. And everywhere else is the green zone. Wow. Okay. The justices split 5-4 to bar the state from enforcing the restrictions against the groups for now, with the Justice Amy Coney Barrett in the majority. It was the conservatives' first publicly discernible vote as a justice since she joined the court on October 26th. The court's 3 liberal justices and Chief Justice John Roberts dissented. Partisan lines. Partisan lines. In 2 previous cases this year, the court on 5-4 votes turned away similar requests by churches in Nevada and California. So what changed? What changed? Amy Coney Barrett, was that the only change? Those votes occurred before the death, of liberal Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and saw her and 3 liberal colleagues joined by Roberts in the majority. So, in the latest case, the justices acted on an emergency basis while lawsuits challenging the restrictions continue. So it's not like a decision. It's a temporary stay, so to speak, saying that they can't put these restrictions in place while they make more of a decision, as is the American way. Hold on, don't do anything while we discuss it some more. In an unsigned order, a majority of the court said the restrictions single out houses of worship for especially harsh treatment. And it did seem especially harsh. And it did seem like he was really singling them out. The court's action could push New York to re-evaluate its restrictions. Yeah, maybe we should all re-evaluate our restrictions. But the court's action also won't have any immediate impact on the 2 groups that sued as a result of the restrictions, as they are no longer subject to them. The groups now are subject to less restrictive rules because they are now in areas designated yellow zones. But should it return back to a red zone, then I'm assuming that the judgment takes place. Wow, weird. So while you're on the yellow zone and the restrictions that you came to the court to have lifted aren't actually in place anymore because you're a yellow zone, well, then you're fine because our court case involves when you're a red zone. Well, then that's New York's way out. They just keep it a yellow zone. Yellow zone now becomes the new red zone. They just don't call it a red zone. They call it the yellow zone. And then they would have to go through the process again. That's kind of weird, but okay. The houses of worship say that the limits violated religious freedoms protected by the U.S. Constitution's First Amendment. I believe they are correct. And that their facilities were singled out for more stringent restrictions than essential businesses, such as food stores. The Orthodox congregation Agudath Israel of Coegarden Hills and Agudath Israel of Madison, as well as nationwide Orthodox Jewish groups, Agudath Israel of America. The Diocese of Brooklyn, which covers Brooklyn and Queens, argued houses of worship were being unfairly singled out by the governor's executive order. And I would agree. I would say that his order did seem quite far-reaching, and in his press conferences that he won Emmys for, definitely did seem to really, really single out religious organizations. It really kind of did. I might be wrong. If you think I'm wrong, let me know. It noted that in red zones, businesses deemed essential, from grocery stores to pet shops, can remain open without capacity limits, though non-essential businesses had to close. And in orange zones, most businesses can open without capacity restrictions. I'm guessing that they're saying that to some people, religion is essential. And to some people, religion is essential. The diocese argued that it had previously operated safely by capping attendance at 25% of a building's capacity and taking other measures. Parts of Brooklyn and Queens are now in yellow zones, where attendance at houses of worship is capped at 50% of a building's capacity. All right. That's America. That's why I'm thankful for being in America. The rest of the story is really a whole bunch of fluff. We've got the meat and potatoes of it. I don't want to take too much of your Thanksgiving time. I want you to be able to spend it with your family. I consider you guys family, so I'm spending it with you guys. And, yeah, America, where if you do feel downtrodden, you can take the path, the proper path. Wheels of justice are slow. I know. Aggravatingly slow. But they are the wheels of justice that drive our system. And if you take those routes and you stick to it, then you can get things done. That's the way it's supposed to work anyways. I love you guys. I'll see you on the next one. Thank you.